I wrote a song about chasing adventure around the world and being open to adventure. And this story I'm going to tell tonight is how I became captain of a ship that's 100 tons. It's 115 feet long. It's got 2 masts and 4 sails. It's huge and takes 10 crew. Well, 6, but to 10 max to run the thing. And that didn't just happen overnight. It took a long time. But it took the will to say, I can. And I can fail a bunch to get there. Because really, this is more of a story of perseverance than of greatness. And that starts with the first step, which is adventure. Yes, I'm in. Okay, here we go. I will go get lost in laughter anywhere with you, you want. And I won't be afraid or ever look backward, as long as I have your love. For I could see our past, our door. There is nowhere we can't go. There is a whole wide world to explore. Let's see how far we can go. Let's go, let's go. If we stay here, we'll never know. And into the great unknown we all must go. Adventure it calls, yeah it calls. Adventure it calls us all. Grab your coat, it's time to go. Let's leave this cold, hard snow and wake up someone with you sweetly in my arms. It won't matter where we are, for I can see out past these eyes. There's another life we could try. We could go fly so high, so low. Let's see how far we can go. Let's go, let's go. If we stay here, we'll never know. And into the great unknown we all must go. Adventure it calls. Yeah, it calls, adventure, it calls us all, it calls us all, calls all, it calls us all, adventure calls, it calls us all. And I will go wherever the wind blows. It calls us all as long as I have your love. It calls us all, and I will throw my heart at this world. It calls us all and see just where I end up. Oh, because adventure calls. Let's see how far we can go. Let's go, let's go. If we stay here, we'll never know. And into the great unknown we all must go. Adventure it calls, yeah it calls. Adventure it calls. pretty much what happened is I said yes to adventure, and adventure said yes to me. And I was lucky enough to just skin my knees and not get too banged up around the edges when I was adventuring. And I started going to sea, and I had no idea how to even tie a knot. I was like, I'm adventuring. Yeah, let's do it. And then other people were like, you kind of need to know skills to do stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm a quick learner. All right, let's do it. I eventually learned my knots, some of them, most of them, the ones you really need. And I found myself on this ship. And the ship was happening to go on an expedition that was just miraculous. You don't always get this opportunity. It was going to study whales off the coast of Sri Lanka. And we were getting to play with them every day. That was our job. So we got back, and I had all of this footage, and I had written this song while I was out there messing around with whales. So I put together my first ever video. And the reason really to have a boat is so you can go places that boats can go. And the reason to have a really big boat is to go where big boats can go, which is in the middle of the ocean. Because you don't want to be on a little boat in the big blue if something goes wrong and there's a lot of weather. You want to be on a bigger boat. So where those whales were, it was big seas. And so we go a lot of places where it's only ocean for thousands of miles, and it's a really incredibly liberating experience to be just surrounded by the big blue and the god of the ocean, the master of time. It guards all, and you are just a pawn when you're in the middle of the sea. And this boat is magical, and it takes us to many really beautiful places. It took us to those whales, and it's taken us to some other places you'll see tonight. And I've been so lucky to see such amazing things on this ship that I had to write a song to try and explain to someone who's never been to sea kind of what you see and what it feels like. So this song is called Miracle, and it's written about the good ship Mir. That is the ship that you saw those whales being filmed from. And Mir, just so you know, is 112 years old. Yeah. She is a very elderly lady. And she's had a lot of replacements to all of her major joints. But she still pumps hard, and she does really well. And she gets us to all the places we need to go safely, and we take care of her. So this song is about her. Well, darkness dims and rainbows arise. Down as this goes, and there in the water, everything sparkles as it looks like there's a universe below. Whoa. Everything she's seen, everything she knows, every single place, every story told, everywhere she flows, she's 112 years old. Whoa. And every single piece, every single person who is there, oh, they all make it a miracle, a miracle, miracle. She's a miracle.
She's a diamond squeezed from coal. She is rust turned to gold. She grows younger as we grow old. She's the good ship Mir. She makes it real, makes it real, makes it real. Oh, Mir, she makes it real. Well, we are sailing to the distance and the unknown conscious fantasy. And in my mind, I begin to find life on this boat is a lie, a dream. The ship has, as you can imagine, being 112 years old, it has so many different lives. You know, at one point, it was just no big deal, like the tallest mast in all of the Mediterranean, and it would take people around. And then it was like privately owned by Jackie Onassis at one point, and it was owned by an all-female crew that was teaching women how to sail. That's my favorite part. That was like so cool. In like an era where they were still like, it's probably bad luck to have a woman on board. They were like, well, fine, how about if it's all women on board? Oh, yeah, then dang it. So, there's also supposedly, I've never seen them, ghosts on our ship. Like, seriously, crew members come up to me and they're like, man, I met the ghost last night. And I'm like, oh, God, where? In the dive locker. What were you doing in the dive locker? Talking to the ghost. Which one? Was it the guy or the girl? It was the really pretty girl. Oh, she's nice. Yeah, the guy, I think he's nice too. Anyway, they come from different eras. And it's so old that it predates welding. Like, they had to smash plates together to put this thing together. They constructed it with riveting. So, like, there's parts of the ship you can still see, and they're just pounded together. And you're like, you actually look like some of the strongest parts of the ship. This is amazing. Okay, cool. I'm not worried about your parts. So after 100 years, the boat had kind of been lost, forsaken on the shores of Malta in the Mediterranean. And the founders of Biosphere Foundation, they were like, yeah, a boat that's 100 years old, cool. And they looked online and they were like, we're going to come. And the guy's like, great, if you come now, it's for free. And they were like, a free boat? Even better. And they showed up, and the boat was like rusting to pieces on the side of the dock, and there were literally weeds growing out of the deck. And they were like, cool, free weeds. And the guy was actually like, no, they're not free. Now they're expensive. And they're like, oh, we're already here. And he goes, I know, bummer. But they were like, it's cheap enough. They figured they'd pull it off. And so they got 10 crew members together, volunteers, and they spent a year in that dry dock with that guy looking at him all the time, trying to figure out how much money he could pull out of him. And he was disappointed in the day that they actually got that thing out of there and sailed away. And they had to fix the masts. They had to fix everything. And there's a video online. If you go to biospherefoundation.org, you can watch a video about what all they did, and it's mind-blowing. It's not something normal people would want to undertake. But they had a video about Biosphere 2, and this is their story.
As I look at Biosphere 2,
8 human beings separated from life. Here is this capsule of life.
There's a film out there, a couple of them you can check out. If you Google Biosphere 2, you can figure out some more about this whole story. But it's a fascinating thing, and it's down in the desert of Tucson, Arizona, right outside in a place called Oracle. And it's a place you can go visit, and it's not in operation anymore. But it's a pretty impressive feat that they were able to build that thing, and then 8 human beings were able to habit it for 2 years. And they regulated their own oxygen, carbon dioxide. They filtered and recycled all of their own water. They grew all their own food. It was cutting edge, and this was 30 years ago before the internet, and they were managing this entire thing. So learn more about it. It's fascinating. Those two lived in it for 2 years. And so as you can see, they're kind of into this whole let's do anything and everything. And after they got out of it, they went on a 25-year expedition around the world to map coral reefs because they found out that the indicator species of Biosphere 2, this being Biosphere 1, by the way, was the coral reef because they built a miniature ocean inside of that thing. So they found out that if the coral got sick, then the rest of the biomes got sick. So they got out of that project and they were like, well, let's go see how the corals are doing. That'll give us a good idea of what we should be doing next. And they, found out what we all know now, that they're all dying. And so we've stopped just trying to find out what's happening, and we're now doing something about it. So we're going out there transplanting gardens underwater and bringing back the habitat that is near the coast. Look our world, we're leaving port. No more Singapore, hold on tight. We're leaving port. Said yeah, she goes, and up and down we'll be bouncing around for days and days. Back and forth we'll be surfing Mir from wave to wave. And I thank God that I am it surrounds me. 'Cause love is the thing that keeps me hanging on.
Keeps me hanging on.
Your love keeps me warm, makes me strong.
It makes me strong.
Love is the thing that keeps me hanging on.
Keeps me hanging on.
Your love keeps me warm, makes me strong. Oh, I thank God that I have love, and I now see that it surrounds me.
'Cause love is the thing that keeps me hanging on.
Hanging on.
Your love keeps me warm and makes me strong.
Makes me strong.
Now I see love surrounds me.
Here we come, here we go. Little less, a little more.
Up the sails, up the whales, up the ante, up the gold.
It's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to us to make it be.
Will we live, will we die, will we love or will we cry?
Go either way.
We could fight or we could play.
We could suffer with the greed.
We could run, we could
We could
say.
have, we could go. If you tend, it's a choice. Put your hands to your
heart
goal.
together, let's make it start.
Thank God that I have your love, and I now see that it surrounds me. 'Cause love is the thing that keeps me hanging on.
Keeps me hanging
Your
on.
love keeps me warm and makes me strong.
Makes me strong.
Love is the thing that keeps me hanging on.
Keeps me hanging on.
Your love keeps me warm, makes me strong. Oh, I thank God. And I now see that
'Cause love is the thing that keeps me hanging on.
hanging on
Your love keeps me warm and makes me strong.
makes me strong.
Now I see love surrounds me.
I spent a year at sea, and it was hard, but it was great. I got to see amazing things. I got challenged. I developed. I really got to learn what it was like to be, a a contributing member of the team. Oh man, being on a boat is so about team. You're like always like ready for the next thing that's coming. It's like a really hard thing to explain. You're always like, well, we can't sleep, all of us, so somebody's got to be awake. And the boat keeps going through the night. So you, and you are going to be up for the next 4 hours. I'm going to close my eyes. But you come get me if something happens. Something's always happening, man. You're always getting got. It's like this, oh, the wind, oh, the rope, oh, the thing, oh, there's pirates, oh, there's whales. It's like, oh, I just want to sleep. But really, it's better than sleep, so it's all good. But you start like working your way up, and you're like, yeah, I can wash dishes. Okay, you can tie a knot. That's cool. Now what? And so eventually, I was like, well, I'm not a volunteer anymore. I think it's time to become a first mate. And I knew that in order to do that, I had to dream up this amazing thing. it couldn't just be 3 years. I was sacrificing this part for another part. It had to be everything I could ever want it to be. And so I basically envisioned this video I'm going to show you, but obviously this video happened later. So it's the closest thing I can do to show you what I was thinking. But it all came true, and it's just a testament of how if you keep trying and you meet the right people and you keep going for it, you keep following your heart, really great things happen.
I'm a man of the sea. I spend my time with the coral reef. It is home to all the animals that live down in the deep. It's mother of the water. It's where ocean life
this vision of making education fun and interactive and dancing and getting people to care about nature, for me, was really natural because I love dancing and music. But to get kids to do it only really takes asking them. They want to do it too. You know, so we would go to schools when we got to Bali, and we would play music with kids, and it just blew my mind how simple it was. I didn't even speak their language. For me, it was like, man, I play a piano, I play a guitar, I do some dancing, and the kids are my friends. I was like, whoa, this is great. We got to do something with this. So I went diving on a protected island out in Indonesia near Bali called Menjangan. And it's got this huge statue of Ganesha on it. It's protected. It's really important in the Hindu culture. It's like a part of their history of how they escaped Java and a suffrage that was happening to their religion. And they fled to Bali, and it's still stayed strong in Bali ever since. So this island's super key. And we went there, and we were doing a coral project off this island. And we came up from a dive, and I was just covered in plastic. And I was like, oh, man, this is horrible. What can we do about this? And there's a lot of different approaches, but I thought, what tools do I have? Well, I have education, so I'm going to try and educate the coming generation. And I was like, I've already found out the kids like singing and dancing with me. What if I put a message behind a song?
Jangan bersih dengan kamu.
Yeah, that, man, thank you, Bob Marley. There's still kids there that see me because I'm one of the only white people there. But not only that, they're like, Machogan! Machogan! They start singing the song. It's hilarious. I feel like a little person's rock star. So, needless to say, we fell in love with Bali. Bali fell in love with us. Biosphere Foundation had been doing work there for a long time, but it really started to take off, and Bali's a magical spot for a lot of people, and it's a wonderful place to go. If you haven't been, you should come visit us. It really has a magic to it, and it has a saying where the Balinese know how to smile in 1,000 different ways. This song is for Bali. It's called Written in the Stars. It's something my mom used to always say to me and still does. So Mom, thank you. It's written in the stars. Shine like a comet, she streaked across the sun, began to flow through space with the constellations, golden stardust, happy but till the big dipper dipped real deep, scooped her up and brought her home and into the cosmos, spinning around the sun. She came in late at night underneath the full moon. At that moment, planets align, and that's when Mother met for the time, and she's been dancing since the day she was born. And always will be, even at the end of it all. Born somewhere between Venus and Mars. She knows it's always will be written in the stars. Written in the stars. Written in the stars. Written in the stars. It always will be, and it always was.
written in the stars.
Bali was so good to Biosphere Foundation that we decided to make it our home. And in making it our home, it meant making a facility center for education. And Gay and Laser are these big visionary dreamers that came out of Biosphere 2, so they didn't want to build any tiny little stick in the mud. They wanted to build something that was a testament to the education that they have at their disposal and is integrated in them from Biosphere 2. So Laser, being a magnificent engineer, designed this incredible facility center that uses all modern technology, but also uses the very simple and ancient techniques that are really just as important to encompass both. So that when you go there, yeah, you can see, okay, there's solar panels and there's water catchment off the roofs and they're storing hundreds of thousands of liters underground, and they're doing all of this stuff like recycling their water and building wastewater gardens. But that's only part of it. The other part is that behind the center is just so much land that has been denuded and kind of worked over by farmers in the area that have just thrown fertilizer chemicals at it. And every 5 years, you kind of got to move on. You can't just keep doing that. So you got to cut down the trees and move to the next place, cut down the trees and move to the next place. And this isn't just happening in Bali. This is happening globally. This is a problem everywhere. And what happens is not only you're cutting down the trees and the habitat for all the animals and plants, etc., it goes up into the hills, and then it creates these erosional problems because all these plants, all these trees, anything that has a root is allowing water to go into the watershed, which revitalizes the area. But it not only that, it brings water to it, because we've now found out that, you know, clouds that have rain are actually gravitating towards places with trees. But it also prevents erosion. So there's two funding principles, okay, maybe more than that, but two that I'll get to of Biosphere Foundation. One is that biodiversity, it creates resilience against threats. So if you have a bunch of biodiverse ecosystems and global warming comes around or whatever, you now have resiliency in all the biodiverse species. So if you start planting only one thing, or you start only having a couple of things, it's not going to be as resilient. So that's part of the thing that we teach there and part of the things that we do. The other thing is a concept called ridge to reef, meaning from the mountain to the sea. You can't just protect one biome because it's all connected. It's all one biosphere. So you got to protect the whole thing. If you cut down all the trees and it rains, it's going to wash all of the topsoil down on top of your coral reef. And your coral reef's going to choke to death. So you can't just protect the coral. You have to actually stop and start again at the top of the whole thing and work your way down. So behind the Biosphere Center is this huge project to replant trees in this farmland. And so they're working with all these farmers, and they've planted over 1,000 trees. So everybody that's at the center right now, thank you for planting all those trees and working with all those farmers and teaching all the people. This center holds 32 students and 8 teachers. They come from all around the world to be there to teach and learn and grow, and it also is for local communities there in Indonesia as well. This is a small 1-minute video showing the Biosphere Center.
now we could actually go do the mission of Mir. And Mir's mission is to take everything that's being taught at the center and all of the biospherics that we educate people with and go out into the remote island communities and teach these same techniques to the villagers. So we went off on another 1,000-mile voyage in the other direction to Raja Ampat, and we worked with 3 local villages, and we went in there with theater and music and dance, and we worked such wonders of education. This team of people I was with did an amazing job, and we got kids really pumped about the environment. We went out, we taught them snorkeling, we taught them what reef was and why it's important and how it keeps fish populations up and how it keeps the health of the biosphere and the ocean. And then we worked with moms in the village and planted home gardens, and we even got to replant coral gardens and make mooring buoy installations. And these 3 villages really teamed up. We got to spend 6 weeks with them and really work day in and day out on revitalizing their soils, revitalizing their ocean habitats, and having a ton of fun. So this little video will kind of encapsulate some of that. So that's a small picture painting of what the whole mission is about. But we get to go and do some of the coolest things any humans get the opportunity to do. We get to go be in remote places with remote peoples, learn from them, be part of their culture, work with kids, play music, do theater, go diving, go sailing. It's an incredible journey. And it's really brought so much joy to my heart. And it's so sweet for all of you to be here so I can tell you about this. And if you ever want to come visit us and see what we do, please come to Bali. If you want to learn more online, go to biosperefoundation.org. If you get really turned on by what we do and you want to make a donation, please do. It's a 501c3, so you can write it off on your taxes. And while you're at it, also make a donation to I Am Music, because they're our sister 501c3. Yeah, NGOs uniting, baby. That's the way this world's got to go. If we're going to combat these really intense things that are coming our way, we all got to work together. I know that there's a way to make a brighter day.
up the goodness. Turn up the goodness. Turn up the goodness. Turn it up. Turn up the goodness. Turn up the goodness. Turn up the goodness. Thank you everybody so much for being here. I love you all so very much. To this world that needs it all so badly, we can make it right. There's so many people all around the world filled up with the love and light. I don't see why we have to fight. It's all a game we need to stop. Play no more. It's all for lost for what? Why must we